Blast me to Electia! It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 50, Part 1, Lore, Build and Paint Guide. Hello everyone and welcome back to this, the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. We're hitting issue 50 today and it's another biggie. We've got a large frame full of Necrons, and we've got some new information to cover. So we have the Royal Court expands, we build and paint our new models, and we send the Necrons to battle against their sisters. So we get 5 models in this issue. We get the 2 Crypto Thralls, the Plasmancer, so this is our 3rd Technomancer variant, Technomancer type model. We got a new HQ in the formerly dreaded Scorpec Lord, and we got a support unit in the form of the Canoptic Reanimator there. And that's what this issue is going to be focusing on. So we're not going to be bothering with these 4 models, although I have had a request to show this guy being built, so I will do that. But I'm not going to be building and painting these until issue 51 is here, as that's when we're going to be putting the Scorpec Lord to use. So we are going to be focusing mainly on this guy, the Reanimator. But before that, we got some information to go through. So let's have a go vertical and have a look through our magazine. So before we get into the magazine, as usual, we will have a look at our models on their frames. So we got 2 65mm bases, one for the Reanimator, one for the Scorpec Lord. These have the hex holes already marked out for them. And we got 3 32mm bases, which are for the Plasmancer and his bodyguard, the Crypto Thralls. And here we have the frame of miniatures itself, and as you can see, it is pretty much dominated by the 2 big models. So we've got the legs for our Reanimator, the main torso for the Reanimator, the armor plates, and then the rest of the big models focuses on our Scorpec Lord here. His gun is there, legs back here, his spine, and then we've got our Crypto Thralls and the Plasmancer sort of spread around the frame. But we have a nice lot of detail here to work with, so pretty good frame all in all. I'll zoom in closer. There's the Scorpec Lord's head. Already battle damaged, so he's going to be pretty angry. Looks like I've got a little bit of stress marking there on his foot. That's right, I'll be careful when I cut that out. But there we have our frame of models. Plasmancer is probably one of my favourite models, the way they've got him to look like he's floating with minimal attachment to the base. He's just got his staff tip and the ends of his cloak helping to support him. But he mainly floats on his torso here. So there we have our models. And here's our magazine. So the full contents list for this issue, we have our battle record for our Canoptic Reanimator. Background, we're focusing on the Sisters of Battle again, and we're learning all about the matriarchs, and we have the 2 of the orders. We build and paint our Royal Court. We have a datasheet for our Reanimator, and then we have a mission which features the Reanimator trying to rescue and bring back the Scorpec Lord. So here we have the battle record for our Canoptic Reanimator. So it's a repair unit, not just for Canoptic creatures, it repairs anything. It is much like the other canoptic creatures within the Necron. It's very insectoid. So these monstrous constructs loom over the battlefield, utilising their reanimation beams to bring fallen Necrons back to life and atomizing foes in their path. So they got their main weapon, the atomizer beams. He's got 2 of these underneath the carapace. Then he's got his nano scarab reanimation beam on the back. Then he's got his automaton claws there for hacking and slashing. And if we flip the page over, we've got the details we've filled out already. So his designation is the Beam Walker. He has sharpened fangs thanks to the Cryptex. He will protect the Overlord's tomb above all else. And his battle protocol is to atomize anybody deemed weaker. And we got a little tick chart here to keep a tally of the models that this unit has reanimated over the course of battles. And we have the usual record battle box there at the bottom. So our first bit of lore for the Sisters of Battle is all about the matriarchs. So the Adeptus Sororitas revere 6 saints before all others. These 6 warriors fought at the birth of the sisterhood, and each became matriarch of one of the founding orders majoris. There are a beautiful piece of artwork there of all of the different matriarchs. And on the back, we can find out a little bit about each of them. So we've got Saint Lucia of the Valorous Heart, Catherine of the Martyred Lady, Silvana of the Argent Shroud, Mina of the Bloody Rose, Alicia of the Ebon Chalice, and Arabella of the Sacred Rose. And there's a little bit about how they died and a little bit about how they lived in life. Moving on then, we have the Orders of the Sacred Rose. So this is Arabella's order. So the Light of Battle's Serenity. Following the example of their matriarch Arabella, the Sisters of the Order of the Sacred Rose seek to bring the light of the Emperor to the darkest corners of the galaxy, freeing the faithful from the yoke of heretics and tyrants. They are accompanied to battle by the thronging masses of the Imperial cult. So a little bit more about the Sisters themselves. Nice piece of artwork there of a canoness leading some zealotry Imperial cultists. And on the back, we have the Order of the Ebon Chalice. So probably my second favourite of the orders, mainly because of the paint guide Duncan did for the old White Dwarf Sisters of Battle Codex. So the Order of the Ebon Chalice is the perfection of sanctity, committed to tradition and indomitable upon the battlefield. The Sisters of the Ebon Chalice seek to emulate the martial perfection of Alicia Dominica and the Daughters of the Emperor. So here we have the first of the Order's militant. So the Order of the Ebon Chalice was the first of the orders to be created. Its founder, the leader and matriarch was Alicia Dominica, slayer of Vandire and chosen of the Emperor. A desire to emulate the perfection of Dominica still burns in the hearts of every sister of the Ebon Chalice. So we have the lovely black armour and white of the robes. Lovely. There we go. Alright, moving on, then we got our build guide. So I'll quickly go through this and then I'll show you how to build the Scorpec Lord, who is the first model we're building, over the page. So here we have the instructions of the Scorpec Lord. So it's a matter of putting the legs to the body, gun arm in and the spine in place. Gluing in his other arms, so we got the claw arm and the blade arm there. Then we could put the front and torso on, the rear leg on, and finally the head. Then we got the Plasmancer here. So he pushed the 2 halves of the body and his little engines onto the main torso. Put his front tassels on first and then his head finally, and glue into his base. And our crypto thralls are pretty easy to go together. So just push the 2 legs into each side of the torso and 2 halves of the main torso on, and then finally the head. And our final build is the reanimator itself. So the 2 halves of the main torso go together. Then we glue the outsides of the torso with the legs on. Then finally we push down the carapace, the destroyed Castellan robot hand onto the base, and the head onto its neck, and then down to its base. So let's just quickly cover the paint guide, as this will not be how I'm doing my models. As you know, I'm doing mine in a different colour scheme. So if you're following the tongue's getting tied. If you are indeed following the Zarak Dynasty colour scheme, like the magazine dictates, you'll want to put 3 coats of Runelord brass down on all your models. Give the entire model a shade of Cryptek Armour Shade gloss, and start picking out your black areas and joints with Avalon Black and the gun casing as well. Silver details picked out with Lead Belcher. There's quite a lot around these models. We've got details on the bases, the staff, the cloaks, various bits of the weapons. Picking out certain armour plates of Canoptic alloy, so face plates, the carapace on the Plasmancer, the loincloth on the Scorpec Lord, and the face there. Then we're getting Corax White, picking out all the eyes, the energy orbs, the blades, as well as certain pipes, details along the base. Corn Reds is used to pick out the destroyed Mechanicum pieces, and Raka Flesh any skulls. Then we're giving everything that's been painted white and Raka Flesh a good old shade of Agmax Earthshade. Reichland Flesh Shade is put onto the areas we've applied the Cryptek Armour not the Cryptek Armour Shade, the Canoptic Alloy. Non-oil then is used on all the Lead Belcher details and the Corn Red, as well as going into the deeper recesses on the Runelord brass. Then we're edge highlighting all of the brass detailings with Stormhost Silver, as well as all the silver details, so the claws, spikes, rubbles on the base, etc. And then finally we're giving the bases a coat of Astrogranite and a shade of non-oil. And then we have our finished gallery. So I will bring the frame in. I will probably cut everything off camera, and then I can start building it for you. So I will be right back. Okay, here we have the Scorpec Destroyer Lord all cut out. I have got some slight damage here. This is just going to snap off eventually, so it's not going to bother too much, as you can still apply a bit of glue to the tip of the leg there, and it will still glue down just as fine. So there's that. I got now. Look at, see, I'm going to snap it off now. I can glue that down later on though. That's no trouble. But here we have the rest of the components. When clipping this one out, I do suggest you clip out the tabs that attach on the loincloth first. I missed one. I thought I did. Just quickly. There. So yeah, cut that tab and that tab off first, as otherwise putting too much stress on these bits would cause these to break anyway. So cut from the bottom up and you have no trouble. Other than that, the model came off the frame quite easy. I didn't really have any trouble with this. But let's start putting this guy together, shall we? So I'm going to start with the main torso. And the first thing I'd want to do is to attach the legs. So we just need to line up the hole in the peg and gently push on. Putting our thumb up against the other side here will mean we're not going to put too much stress on the actual joint itself. And do the same for the other one, just line up. And we go down, there's a bit of a snug fit that side. But there we have that. And while we're at it, let's take the rear leg and push in, and that is the legs all attached. So we'll set that to one side. Next bit is a sub-assembly, so we're going to put the blaster together. It doesn't really matter which side goes which way. just slips on like so. Then we will push the bottom spike in the underside of the hand like so. That's pretty much all our sub-assembly is done. So next, we'll take the spine and it goes right through that hole there, like so. Then we can take the gun arm, which fits into that socket there. Push it in, and then we can put the actual feeding cables into the spine, like so. Next up, we'll take the sword arm, and it goes into here, and there's a little groove just in the side of that arm there, where it rests against, just like that. Then we take this arm, feed it in to its peg and post like so. There's a little nub that will help guide it to be in the right place. And just like with the ammo feed on the gun, push the cables into the spine like so. And then that bit just lines up with that little nub just there. Finally, to help seal the spine in place, we'll take the torso front. So we've got the main hole there, and it just goes onto the post like so. There we go, look at that. Hang on a sec, I've done something wrong. Hold on a sec. So I just had to take that off camera a sec, because I didn't line up that little post there just above the loincloth, which goes into the spine like so, and then we can push the torso down. There we go. And that's everything fitting together snugly. And our final piece is to take the head, and that just pushes onto the peg like so. And then we can slot him down to his base. It doesn't matter which one goes in, they are all pretty much equidistant. But that's our Scorpic Lord built and ready to go chop up and slash and blast some Space Marines. Rawr. So there we have it. That is the video for issue 50 of the Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Part Works by Hachette. So next issue, not next issue, next video will be this issue's battle report, and we will look at how the Canoptek reanimator works in games. I'm just going to go off and build him now, and it'll be quite nice to have a single play with the full Sisters of Battle on their own. I wasn't able to use all their rules in the big battle, as it's a combined army force of two different factions. But it'd be nice seeing all the new Sisters of Battle stuff that we had from last issue on the battlefield, and get to use the full special rules abilities. So all the acts of faith, etc. will work fine. And I've got my new reminder cards as well. So I can hopefully remember what bits are active for which army. So all what's left for me to do is to say thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. It helps the channel grow. And also commenting, sharing with your social media groups will help others find this beautiful channel, and I can create more mad content. There are, of course, all my links in the description down below if you would like to click those. and I will see you next time. Goodbye.